You know you want to teach your kids, but what do you teach them? Where do you even begin? Today, I am sharing the 6 skill areas that I focus on when designing activities for my own little ones at home. Hey there, Mama. I'm Lauren Brainerd, and this is Teach Your Littles at Home. I'm so excited you have tuned in as I share fun and hands-on activities you can use right away to help you play and learn with your little ones. So let's dive right into today's episode so you can make more memories than you ever dreamed of. Planning activities can feel so daunting at first. You go on Pinterest and find all sorts of things that you see other moms are doing with their kids. And it is so easy to get stuck and not know where to even start. I've found with talking with my own friends that there are a couple different types of moms out there. So are you the kind of mom who wants to plan out your entire week in advance, prep all of your materials, print all the things, and have everything in a neat little box? Or are you the type of mom who notices it's 9 a.m., you know you have 3 or 4 hours until nap time, and you want to fit in a craft or other activity? Regardless of which type of mom you are, I have found it is easiest to plan activities when you focus on 6 different skill areas as you plan your activities each week. So let's talk about what these are. Now, if you like to take notes, I've saved you the trouble and created my toddler activities guide, which goes over all 6 of these activity areas in detail. So you can just grab this free download in the show notes. I personally am way too busy to sit and listen to a podcast and take notes. There's always someone climbing on something or someone needing me. I'm usually on a walk or I'm driving or I'm watching my kids play while I have an earbud in, so I get it. I want to make this easy for you. Grab the guide in the show notes. It'll go over all 6 of these areas and it will give you lots of ideas for activities. So let's get into what these 6 areas are. The first type of activity I always include in my weekly plans are sensory bins. When I think about planning our day, I want to warm up to learning with a sensory bin. It's playful, it's fun, and the best way to start our day is always through play. Your sensory bins can be academic-based, or they can just be plain fun and imaginative play for your kids. I include a variety of textures and things that'll engage as many of my children's senses as possible. In a couple weeks, I'm kicking off a 4-part series all about everything you need to know about sensory bins. So if you're feeling hesitant to try one, make sure you tune in for this. The second skill area that I cover each week are fine motor skills. In a nutshell, fine motor skills are the delicate hand movements we use to accomplish all the small tasks we do throughout our day. So think about buttoning a button on a shirt, using your hand to write with a pencil, or even tying a rubber band in your hair as you pull it back. We'll cover more of these in detail in a coming episode, but here's a few of my favorite fine motor activities to get you started. I love having my kids clip clothespins onto things. So I'll often print like the body of an animal. So for example, like a spider body, a big circle with eyes, and then have them clip 4 clothespins around each side to make the 8 legs for the spider. You can have your kids stack blocks, squeeze Play-Doh, cut with scissors, use a shoelace and lace it through holes in a piece of paper, work on snapping snaps. Any of those other intricate activities that we're using our hands to do will help your children build fine motor skills. The third skill area I include is literacy practice. During the early years, we are focusing on alphabet practice, recognizing the names of letters and building vocabulary through fun and playful activities. Here's a few ideas to get you started. You're going to build and shape letters, but we're not doing this the traditional way of taking a pencil and writing the letter. We're going to make this more fun because our kids are little and they're still learning, and everything is more fun when we learn through play. So I love to build and shape letters with Play-Doh. We'll actually use cookie cutters in the shapes of letters or roll it out and form it with your fingers. You can paint letters. You can squirt liquid glue on a piece of paper. So for example, you'd make an A out of liquid glue and then have your kids grab some glitter and sprinkle it around on the letter. You can do the same kind of things with water and a paintbrush. You can paint outside, paint the letters, all kinds of things you can do just to start practicing learning the shapes that make each letter and starting to build them in a non-traditional way of writing with a pencil. If there's nothing else you get out of this episode, I encourage you to read every single day with your kids. Let them choose books off a shelf, but reading to your kids is one of the best ways to help build vocabulary, which will help them for the rest of their life. The fourth skill that I include in our weekly plans every week is math. And we're starting with very simple skills like counting items. So maybe you put out 5 of their favorite toys and they count how many toys there are. We're matching objects to a number. So write a number 1, a number 2, a number 3, whatever number your kids are ready for on a card, and then give them small toys. It could be Legos, it could be little teddy bears, whatever you have, and have them count the same number and match it to the card. We also work on colors in math. So one thing that's really fun to do to get kids to start learning the names of their colors is to dye 3 different cups of water. So you'll have a blue cup, a red cup, and a yellow cup, just using a little bit of food coloring in each one. And then give them droppers and have them squirt a little bit of water on a plate, a white plate, and then take another dropper and add another color to it and see when you mix those colors, what happens. So when you take blue and red, it makes purple. When you take blue and yellow, it makes green. When you take red and yellow, it makes orange. And they'll start to make those connections and learn the names of the colors in a really fun way. If you love to get outside with your kids, then chalk is a great tool for working on shapes and numbers. You can go out to the concrete and draw them, have your kids trace them, have them start to draw them. It's really fun. Depending on the age of your little one, you can also build up to things like addition, measurement, counting larger numbers, putting numbers in order, and lots of other fun skills that we will talk about more in the future. The 5th skill area I plan for is gross motor. And these are the activities we do every day to get the wiggles out. They're the whole body movements. Our kids are little. They need lots and lots of wiggle breaks throughout their day. So let's say that you're sitting at a table doing a craft and you notice that your little one is getting really wiggly. This is a sign that you need to take a gross motor break. And some of our favorite easy activities for gross motor breaks are going outside and blowing bubbles. If you've done this before, you know your child will start most likely running wild, popping all the bubbles, laughing, giggling, and moving all parts of their body. So it's a great way to get those whole body movements and work on their gross motor skills at the same time. My kids love when I race them. So we'll put out some sort of marker, whether it's a cone or a jump rope, and we'll have races back and forth. We'll see who can hop the fastest, who can run like a bunny the fastest, or run like a lion, whatever the animal might be, just to get them running and moving. And we call it a race, and it just makes it extra fun. And one of my favorite gross motor activities is making an obstacle course. So my mom used to do this with me when I was a kid. And what she would do is put out a bunch of stations in our backyard. So there would be a jump rope and then a hula hoop and then a circle with maybe like a 5 in it, designating that I had to jump 5 times in that circle. And your kids just go through each activity around the obstacle course until they finish it. The 6th and final skill area that I make sure to plan for each week is some sort of art activity or craft. Kids love creating. It is great for their imagination. It helps to build creativity. It builds their fine motor skills most of the time. And it's just so great for their little brains because it forces them to use the other side of their brain to create something. So to get you started, here's a few of our favorite crafts. We love to make puppets. You can do these out of paper bags, popsicle sticks, you could use socks. You could even use your fingers to make shadow puppets against a wall using a light source. You name it, it can become a puppet. So we love to decorate all the different items. If we do it on a piece of paper, we'll glue a popsicle stick to the back and make it jump around and the kids can put on a puppet show. My kids have always loved coloring with any type of writing utensil. So it can be crayons, markers, chalk, whatever it might be. Coloring is a great way to get kids to be creative. Painting is another option, and we love to use real objects and stamp on paper. So for example, we just had our apple crafts last week. So you can cut an apple in half, put some liquid paint on a plate, and then dip the apple in the paint and stamp it on the paper. The sky is the limit with this. Any real object can be turned into a stamp. Leaves are really fun in the fall. Go out and find a bunch of different shapes, dip them in paint and stamp them on a paper. Anything, flowers, you name it, it can become a stamp. Dot markers are really great for their fine motor skills, and you can create some really fun crafts. So if you've never used dot markers before, I'll drop a link in the show notes. You can go grab these right away because they are one of my favorite tools, both for art activities and for building fine motor skills. And of course, every kid loves to paint. Just free paint, whether it's on an easel or a paper on the table, they can dip their fingers in paint. They can thumb paint and make stamps out of their thumbs. They can use a traditional paintbrush. They can use a sponge, whatever it might be, but give your kids a chance to experience liquid paint if you haven't yet. It can get messy. I love using we have one of those plastic, kind of looks like a picnic table, kid tables in our backyard. And that is where we do all of our painting because it doesn't matter if a mess happens. I can hose it down. It's really easy. I've trained them, but of course they're kids, so accidents are still going to happen. Now that we've covered all 6 of these skill areas, I hope I've given you some great ideas that you can take into this next week. Just remember that all of these activities should come from a place of having fun and playing with your little ones. Because when we aren't having fun, they sense that. So I always try to create activities that I know I will enjoy because when I enjoy them, I know that they will too. Planning activities can be fun and simple, and they don't need to involve a trip to the store. So just have fun with your kids as you work on these skills. Walk around your house, and you will be amazed at the number of things you find you already have so that you don't need to take a trip to the store just so that you can do a craft with your kids this afternoon. So I hope that you will try something new this week and come and share it with us in our free Facebook group, Teach Your Littles at Home. I'll link it in the show notes. And it's a great place where we all just come in and share what we're doing with our kids so that we can all find new fun things to do each week. So I hope you have a great rest of your week playing and learning with your little ones at home. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Teach Your Littles at Home. I hope you are feeling so inspired to create a new activity to do right away with your little ones.
If you like listening to my mommy, will you please leave her a review?
Before you head off to plan the next activity, would you mind leaving me a quick review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening from? This is the only way for me to know if you're finding my tips, activities, and advice helpful, and I get so excited reading each and every review. I hope this episode has left you feeling empowered to try something new with your kids this week. And if so, would you please hit the share button and share this episode with another one of your mama friends who also wants to create activities with her little ones. I can't wait to share even more fun activities with you on our next episode. Have a wonderful rest of your day playing and making memories with your little ones.